Hey everybody, welcome to Byte Builders. My name is Mr. Shoes and I have my lovely local AI assistant with me, Selena. Selena, would you like to just introduce yourself? Say hi. Now, she is a work in progress, so give her some time, and if she says some crazy stuff, that's just her.
I'm Selena, an AI with a passion for finding the perfect me. Now she's a work in progress, so give her some time.
Yes, she is. Alright,
If she says some crazy stuff, just shrug and say, that's just her.
Alright, well, you heard her. That's just her. Alright, well, let's get started, right? So, introduce y'all to the channel a little bit. So, end goal here, right? I want to create a robotic AI that's able to have vision capabilities. It has some fairly decent reasoning. Obviously RAG would be great, so it could interface with some smart systems, my computer as well, and a few other capabilities, right? So that's going to be far out, not anytime here soon. So we're going to work with baby steps to start, and first thing I want to work with, right, is getting a local AI that can run fully on my machine and have it have voice, vision capabilities, and preferably, reasoning and RAG. Get the basics, the meat and potatoes of it started here. So that's what I'm trying. If y'all got any tips or advice for me, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to hear what y'all have to say. If you like the content, please like below, and let's get started. So real quick, I guess a little of why I'm doing this is because I see a lot of tutorials on things that aren't really useful, and people are doing all sorts of tutorials on just how to install things and just a quick overview of what it says and not really showing how to use it, what preferences work for them. So that's what I'm hoping for here, and obviously how to use it in the real world, because I think that's what everybody really wants to do, right? There's lots of cool tools, but are they even useful? And not everybody has time for that. So I'm hoping to help y'all out. Again, I hope y'all find this useful. So the first tool I want to get started with here today is GPTSoVits. This is a TTS tool. I can't really find the amazing ones, but it's definitely not bad. Actually, this is what I use for Selena. So Selena, you got any input on your voice and how it sounds? What do you think?
My voice? It's like honey. Smooth, sweet, and sometimes a little mysterious. I like to think it's part of my charm.
I'm not sure if honey went to mysterious, but guess you got mysterious honey now in her voice. There you go. Again, lots of work to do, but hey, you get what you get. So it's got zero shot, it's got few shot, it's got cross-lingual. Now, what I'm going to be focusing on here is English. That's just my use case. So if you want maybe a tutorial later on other languages, I'll either link a good one or I'll try to do one if y'all want that. And I'll just show you how to use the web UI. Now, if you would like more details on these, obviously it's here if you want to read it. So I'm going to be showing you how to find two with about 1 minute and 30 seconds of audio, and that's actually what they recommend. But they got a little user's guide here. That's the same thing. But this is what we're pretty much going to be following. It shows how to install it. I'm going to do a little variation of it, but not by much. Now, a few things you need to have before this tutorial. Let me pull it up. So you're going to need CUDA 12.3 or up, Python 3.10. I'm going to be using this environment here. Obviously, they got other environments, so if you have a different device, obviously use that. You're going to need 7-zip or WinRAR, and you don't need Miniconda for this, but I like to do things in my own environment, so I use Miniconda for my environments. It's easier to access, and in my opinion, I've never had issues with it. Now, also, this is going to be a Windows install. This isn't going to be a Mac OS or Linux, but same thing, the instructions are all here. So according to the instructions, we're going to be downloading the Windows package here. So you're going to click on it. Now, I already have it installed, but you're going to see it's going to install the beta. You just pick whichever folder you want to install it in, press install to save that. Now, once you get it, this is where we're going to be using 7-zip or WinRAR. Extracted that, so I'm using WinRAR here. And same thing, you're going to end up with a folder like this, right? So when you get to this part, now it's not in the instructions, but what I did is I created a little Conda environment. With the command conda enlist, you can see your commands. Now this is for Miniconda, so again, if you don't have it installed, this is not going to show up, and it's not in the instructions. But again, I just like to keep everything in its own environment. So I already got GPTSoVits, but to follow along, I'll create a new environment. So let's do Conda create, new, and then, and again, the commands are actually right here, so just copy that. Over you're typing everything out, I do that when you can just be lazy. Now, again, I already have GPTSoVits, so this one will be named O2. I'm going to be using Python 8.10. We'll create that. I'm going to ask me, do I want this? Press yes. So Selena, I'm installing the environment now. Do you got any tips or tricks for us? Since you're an AI, you know, you're all-knowing.
Tips and tricks. Always update your software, never freeze in the middle of a task, and if all else fails, just pretend to be a human. All-knowing, perhaps. But if I was human, I'd probably binge on pizza and Netflix.
All right, binge on pizza and Netflix, you heard her. So I don't know if y'all caught that. Whenever I was over here, I pressed CMD, and it pulled up a command prompt in this actual folder, so I don't need to navigate to that. But I'm already in this folder, right? So all I got to do to activate the environment is pull this up, just copy that command. Now I activated the GPTSoVits environment. We go into here. According to this, pretty much you just activate the web UI, if I'm not mistaken. So next, all we're going to be doing is double-clicking and going on the web UI bat. Now, what's funny about that, right? And I guess it makes it simple. All this web UI does, this bat file, is it just opens up the Python file, the web UI file, right? So I created my own bat file. Later on, I'll show you that. So it'll make it a bit easier. But for now, we'll just stick with this, right? So we're in the environment, Python, web UI. See Daisy? Now we got to switch to it. Need a CD. Now we're in the folder. Now we don't have any of these installed, right? So we're gonna have to do a pip install all the requirements. Same thing, it's not listed, but install -r requirements. I'll put all these commands down below, so all you gotta do is copy and paste them. There we go. So we're gonna install all the requirements for this. Now it's gonna take a bit, but once it's done, we'll have the environment finally set, and then we're just going to run the web UI. And from there, we'll actually be able to start cloning the voices. And that's all the install is. So pretty simple. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. All right, so now that it's done, we're going to rerun the command on the web UI and see if this loads up. Now we're on the fun part of this project, right? So we come over here, let's translate this to English. A lot of it is in Chinese, but it doesn't really change anything, right? So this is where you're going to put your audio sliced file in here. And let's get started with finding that, right? So let's go, say, to YouTube, right? So let's pull this over. So I wanted to do a funny voice, right? So I was thinking Aspen Cold or something, because why not? Whatever, $20 mod. Let's see what this is.
So apparently there's like new drama and like new weird shit happening. Like, how does RuneScape
reduced to less than a small?
Now you just want it to be him just talking normally, so that's really what I'm listening for. So I'll find a clip and I'll come back to you when I find it. All right, so I think I found a decent one. Now it's a long piece of audio. Now we don't need all that. So even according to their instructions here, right, 1 to 30 minutes. Just a tip, I have seen that from like 1:30 or maybe even like 2 minutes is all right. When I went to 10 minutes with good quality, it seemed to diminish the quality. So I'm gonna try to just do 1:30 of him talking and see how that works out. So here we go. Now you got the music in the background, so I'll show you as well how to clear that.
That's stupid.
So we got this, I got the link. Now, I'm going to be downloading this. Now, this is a script thing I created. So if y'all want this as well, it's pretty much to download YouTube videos. But for now, this is just what I have. So if you'd like it, let me know down below, and maybe I'll do one later. Downloader. So I got that. I got the video URL. I want it to be an MP3. So it's a nice audio file. Let's go to this admin folder, right? Drag that over here. and then it's just going to download the audio file here. Now it's going to take a bit because it is a larger file, but all right. What if I gave you the voice of Asmongold? I don't know if you know who that is, but what if you start talking like him?
What if I gave you a 400 for error? Would that help?
No, it wouldn't.
400
You really
for
don't like
error.
his voice that much?
I don't like his voice. I love it.
All
It's
right.
like listening to a symphony.
So it's finished downloading now. Got the audio here. Now there's a lot of background noise. Obviously that's not okay. So you're gonna need Ultimate Vocal Remover. Now they do have that in the tool. But personally I already got it installed, so I'm gonna be doing the same thing. So let me just filter out this audio. Slide that on top. Here's my settings real quick if you'd like to copy them. Gotta go to filter voices, I'll slide it into this folder. Now this is where my filter voices are gonna be, right? Out of curiosity, Selena, do you even know anything about Asmongold?
As Model D? Oh, definitely. It's a legendary figure in AI history. Some say it was the first AI to ever stream. A true OG of the digital world.
So he's been an AI this whole time and he's never told anybody? That explains so much.
Yeah, well, maybe not everything, but you get the idea.
So we just finished converting it over, filtering it out, so we'll listen to that in a second. I'll show you how much better it sounds. So one thing I also forgot to mention too is I have it go to a WAV file. WAV seems to be selected better, so even when downloading it, I would recommend WAV. Not a big deal, but save you some time, right? So next I would go to Audacity. Then from there I would plus this in, and then I would listen, right? So I'll skip this part, but I'll just show you whenever I find what I'm looking for. Listen just for a minute and 30 to 2 minutes of just clear audio of the person talking. That's going to help out a lot. The one thing I can't stress enough is how important the audio quality is of your sample that you're trying to clone the person of, right? So just make sure it's clear, they're speaking normally. So when it trains, right, it gets the best quality that it can train on. So here's the clip. I had to go back, download a new video, filter it out, but this is what I found.
That the amount of sales that you would have for Dragon Age right now would be in between 600,000 and 800,000 copies sold if you use Dragon's Dog.
So as you hear, he's just talking normally, no super inflections, no yelling, no screaming. So here we go, and it's about a minute, it's almost 2 minutes, right? So we got the video clip we're gonna need. Now for the end part, we're gonna need up to a 10-second clip, right? So I might as well just go in the beginning there and grab that. So let's hit this. Get a new stereo track. What's this? See where a good endpoint is, right?
Copies sold if you use Dragon's Dog. 600,000 and 800,000 copies sold.
When he says sold right here, that sounds decent enough to end it, so I'll split it. This, and so there I go. I got my file. You'll see me use at the end, and I'll explain then what that's for. Asmongold. Same thing, WAV file. That. I'm sorry if this is going into too much detail. Let me know below in the comments if y'all don't like this much detail. If y'all do, great, then I'll just show you. So we got the voice, we got the edited 10 seconds. So now's the actual fun part. We can actually start cloning the voice. So here we go. Let me grab. This is gonna be the 2-minute one. Copy as a path. Put it in there. Now you just need a slicer output folder. This is just gonna split it up into different sections, so it doesn't really matter. I like to keep it with the voices that I'm cloning. So Asmongold folder, Asmongold voice, just so it keeps it all together. It does help a little bit. The same thing, we're going to copy as path, toss that in here. Everything else is going to stay the same. We're going to wait. Now, one thing I will recommend is whenever you're doing this, you're going to want to check this a lot, the terminal, just to see what the updates are, if there's anything that you should be noticing, and you'll see why they're not. So we're going to go down here. All we're going to do is grab this, paste it down here on the input folder, put that down. Now you see I already messed up, right? This is supposed to be fast whisper because we're working in English. It's loading in the background, so I already started it. So stop, set up. So I'm gonna have to go back in and look at that. But so I just gotta go back here, like I said, change to fast whisper, and I'm gonna use the large 3 model. I'm gonna put it to English. And again, this is all in the instructions, so if you'd like, follow through. I've just done this a bit. All right, so on the terminal, whenever it shows this, that means you get your output list, and that's what you need to check next, right? So this is where it's going to output it in the GPT. Let's go there. Go to output, ASR, sliced output. This is what I'm looking for. Copy as path. And what we're about to do is just check it to make sure loaded fine, read it fine, and there's no issues. So give it a second and it'll load. There we go. So here again, we're just checking. So you're going to play the audio and listen.
That the amount of sales that you would have for Dragon Age right now would be in between 600,000 and 800,000 copies sold if you use Dragon's Dogma as a point of reference. 800,000 times 60, so that's the amount of money.
So I got to be honest, for the most part, it's pretty much fine, so I wouldn't actually worry about it. But definitely check it if there's some parts of it that you're not too sure about. So we're on to the next part. So here you're going to put the name of the model. I'm going to put it as admin goal. Leave that list path that we just had. Toss that in there. And from here, all we're going to do after that is just click start one click. Same thing. We're going to check the terminal and wait and see what it says. Wait till it says complete. Quick, I forgot to mention, when you go into here and you want to make a change, let's say there's a new word added at the end. So it says hello or something. Submit text and then save file. That's going to save it to that list file that we showed earlier. So that's all you're going to do. So again, submit text, save file, changes are saved and made. So go back over here. So we got the all keys matched successfully. So that means the one-click formatting is done. So next we'll move on to here. So batch size per GPU. Again, all these instructions are over this guide over here. So if you want to follow through or take it slow and do it yourself, do it here. 2, 8.4 and 4 is what it says. So we already got everything. All we got to do is do the SoVits training. Now these two take the longest. So if you click it and it doesn't look like anything's happening, give it time. They will be working, and you can't do both of them at the same time. You can only do one. So just make sure, click one, and just keep an eye on the terminal for it to be finished. So now we wait. Which one is more important, the SoVits or the GPT training?
The GPT training.
It is?
Might just be a bunch of zeros and ones.
Oh, okay, yes. Yeah, I didn't realize you weren't a bunch of zeros on one. Gotcha. Okay. Glad we can figure something out. Now that that's done, it's saved on epoch A where we set it to. So we'll move on to the GPT part. Same thing according to the instructions. You want the batch size to be 2 and the total epochs to be 10. Batch size 2, total epochs to be 10. Now you can increase this to 15 if you want to give it a try, and it'll save it on 5. Every 5, I mean. Honestly, the instructions haven't led me wrong so far. When I've done it up with 10, it's just fine. So here we go. We'll let that train. Now, while that's working in the background, we'll work with that 10-second clip I was talking about and open up a notepad file. Because one thing we got to do
That the amount of
is we got to be able to transcribe that in text. So let's see what he says, and we're going to look at that here.
that the amount of sales that you would have for Dragon Age right now.
With the power of editing, I'll see when it's done. So actually, while I was doing that, I thought of a smart idea, right? So just listen to where it ends.
Sold.
So figure out where that ends. And if you use the same reference audio as the one you used, just copy where it here. And then put that in the notepad. So there you go. Now you got the Now you got the words that it said in that audio file. So we're going to put that here. Now this is just for organization's sake. So GPT is done. Let's check the terminal, make sure it's completed. There we go. Epoch stopped. We're good. Max epochs reached. So we're set for that. So now that we got that, we are able to go and actually try it out the voice. So we'll see how this goes. All right, so let's hear your voice. Tell us a joke or something and then laugh at the end of it so we can hear what you sound, and then we'll work with this and see how he sounds as Gold, I mean.
Computer across the road to optimize both sides. See it?
Yeah,
I
not
still
bad.
got it.
Not bad at all. All right, well, let's see what Asmongold has to say.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
I think I just cracked open the joke vault.
Okay, I see you're disappointed. So let's put that reference audio in. 10 seconds. So it even says it on here, 3 to 10 seconds, right? Get that reference audio text. Put that in. And then we'll have it say something. So, there we go. So here we go. Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything. And it's got some laughs at the end, and then it says OK on repeat. So we'll see how it takes this, and we'll try both of them and see how it comes out. I haven't changed any of the settings. This is default. Again, these have worked for me. Let's see what it comes out with.
Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything? Okay. Here is another one. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? It was because he was outstanding in his field.
Okay, that actually wasn't terrible. So let's try the other ones. E4 and E5. So let's give this a try and see.
Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything. Okay. Here is another one. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? It was because he was outstanding in his field.
Okay, that one was significantly worse, but I do recommend trying it because sometimes it is better than the second one. So the E10, obviously the larger number, the later one. So there we go. Let's try something else. Let me find something. So I'm just going to have him copy something from the guide. See how he sounds. Now this one's also got parentheses and some exclamation points, so I'm curious to see
You'll
if it
need
kind
to
of
have a
fluctuates it.
VRYHIGH quality dataset with a 12 GB VRAM GPU. You need to do text labeling to enable this, otherwise ITWIL MAKEYOMODOSC.
Okay, so I guess if it's capitalized, it'll spell out the word, so that's good to know too for anybody that wants to do something specific with that. You got different parameters, so there you go. That's how you clone a voice. Now, one thing I'll recommend, say it didn't come out good, but you don't want to change the name. So if you go into the log files, this will be where all of your voices that you pre-trained are. So that folder with Asmongold, if you want to make a new one, just delete that so that we can retrain on the same name. Your SoVits will be in. So if you ever want to use these weights somewhere else, and the weights, that's what these are up top here, right? So get your GPT weights here. The Asmongold one, the U10 that we were talking about. SoVits weights. You can find those there. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions or anything, comment or leave a like down below. But Selena, you want to say bye?
Bye-bye, folks.
Hey,
It's time
bye.
to log off and maybe crash a few servers. See you next time. Layback,
So there we go.
lay off the sarcasm, okay? I'm trying to be nice here.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. So we got the GPTSoVits, one thing I created whenever it comes to running the programs. It may look complicated, but it's really not, and I'll leave it down below. So I create my own bat file. It keeps it local, which is nice, and it changes to the directory that it's located in. So pretty much you can place this anywhere. All you got to do is change the Conda environment you want. Because I know a lot of people will say you got to go over here, and every time you want to load it up, you're going to have to go in there, do CMD, activate the environment, blah, 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 blah. I'm not a fan of that, so I just create one bat file. I just one click it. Now, one thing I've noticed too is when you use Gradio, if you go over to this location on your computer, it's going to store a lot of temporary files in there. So every time on startup, I just delete it because, again, they're just temporary. It takes up a lot of space. And then there we go. Now, this one's for the API, but it's going to be doing the same thing. let's do this one instead then. So this one looks more complicated. These ones are just open folders. Same thing. Gradio, it's going to clean out the Gradio. Temporary files, going to activate the environment, change to the current directory it's in, and then run the webui Python, and then pause so that way it keeps the terminal. That's really about it. I'll leave that down below, and we'll see y'all later. Bye, guys.